Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to your March 2019 Astral Alchemy with Rain and Moon. So, I was going to say, my name is Sally. No, I'm just kidding. So March for you, Capricorn, is really interesting. I was kind of thinking, how am I going to explain this? Because it's so weird. Pisces is really featured. And Pisces forms a favorable angle to you called a sextile. And for you, Pisces is your third house of communication, of teaching and learning, of your siblings, of your local area. And with communication, online adventures are featured here. You know, sometimes when I listen to astrologers, they also mention the 11th house that Aquarius rules for technology, including the internet. But in this day and age, because of how we communicate, we have to also include the third house in this vein. So I'm going to go there and say maybe you are involved with either creating or recreating a blog, or like I didn't mean recreating, but maybe editing some kind of website, because Mercury rules this house and Mercury goes retrograde in this house. So usually we can look to a do-over, some kind of review of that particular area. But let me just start from the beginning. So the sun is in Pisces as the month begins. Again, that is going to be your third house. And so the focus probably is going to be in one of the areas that I had mentioned. So it might even be like you're seeing your brothers and sisters more often. There may be a specific reason for that. And it may have some kind of something to do with your parents. And this makes you and your brothers and sisters have to have a powwow and kind of like discuss what you're going to do. But and in other words, this would be more significant than normal, where you were perhaps spending more time with them or even communicating. And as the month begins, Venus goes into Aquarius, which for you is your second house of earned income. Now, because the second house is an earth house, Capricorns really dig this house because you are totally about what the second house is about, earned income. Are you kidding me? So Venus, the ruler of that house going in there, obviously you're going to like that because Venus can bring money in the house that she rules. So give me a break. I mean, this could be a time when your finances are improved because of this transit. And then on the 5th, we have the Mercury retrograde at 29 degrees of Pisces in the third house. One possibility is that there is some kind of communication breakdown between you and siblings, or one particular sibling, a misunderstanding, and that creates its own set of consequences, possibly. This could be just any kind of, maybe even the same thing happening with a neighbor, where you get your signals crossed, or one person misunderstands the other, and that creates conflict or just confusion. And because Mercury rules this house, it could have, maybe even more enhanced effects. Now, the third house, I think, is the house of transportation. So there may be some car issues. So just be aware of that. On the 6th, Uranus goes into Taurus, and there is a new moon in Pisces. So this is happening both on the same day. And the Uranus and Taurus transit will affect your 5th house of love and creativity. And this is a trine angle, very, very favorable. And so it's going to be a time, if you're a single Capricorn, where you may just have off-the-wall love encounters. It's possible that you are not interested in a deep relationship, that you just want to play the field, that you just want to enjoy your freedom. This would be especially indicated if you are coming off of a divorce, because Capricorns do have that situation with the eclipses happening in your polarity with Cancer. So there may have already been reverberations in this direction. And if so, you might be the kind of Capricorn that's like, you know what, I just want to chill for a while and just enjoy myself. The 5th house is a house of pleasure. So you just can take it where you find it. And you may even find that you are attracting Aquarians to you, or that you are attracting unusual love interests. And because you're a Capricorn, you might tend to be more traditional. And now you're getting like these influences that are kind of perhaps loosening you up a little bit, unloosening that tie, you know? That's what I think of a Capricorn, as wearing a tie even when they're relaxing, and just loosening that tie. I said unloosening. Loosening that tie a bit, rolling up your sleeves, or just relaxing in general. Now, Uranus can also bring love in unexpected ways, in unusual ways. If you've ever heard that term meet cute, where you meet people, you know, like in movies, you know, they have those plots where they meet in a cutesy-wootsy little area. Well, maybe it's going to be meet weird. And yet, the great thing is, this is really true about life. I mean, you can meet your soulmate anywhere. At the laundromat, you know? You never know where you're going to meet your soulmate, let's face it. On that very same day, we have a new moon in Pisces, the 3rd house. Who knows? Maybe you meet them online. Yeah, I didn't think about that, because Uranus rules technology. And you have that new moon in the 3rd house. So that could be joining a dating service or whatever else people do to hook up. On the 20th, the sun goes into Aries. That's the astrological new year. And at the same time, we have a full moon at 0 degrees of Libra. So we are going to have 2 full moons in Libra this season. We're going to have one this month on the 20th at 0 degrees of Libra, that unknown quantity or quality. And we don't really know, you know, it's like a new moon in that sense. We don't know the full potential of what can be realized. And then in April, on August 9th, on August 19th, that makes a lot of sense. On April 19th, there will be the 2nd full moon in Libra at 29 degrees of Libra. So the first degree at 0 and the last degree. So that is pretty significant to me. And that's like coming full circle. And that will both be hitting for you the 10th house of career. So because of the fact that during full moons there is a sun-moon opposition, this means the sun is in the 4th house of home and family at the time of that full moon. So you're being asked to look at how your place as a mother, or even like as a father, as a nurturing parent, how you can nurture your children or take care of your house and still have your career. Because there may be something that needs integration at this time, that maybe you've been working extra hard, Capricorn, and you just don't seem to have time to really put your full effort into your house or into your family. And you do rule that 10th house of career. Your ruler Saturn rules that house. So this is not an unfamiliar house. You're very comfortable in that role. But it can simply mean that one thing is being neglected for the sake of the other, and it needs to be realized and then dealt with. On the 26th, Venus goes into Pisces, into that third house. Now, until the 26th, Venus in that second house is blessing you, hopefully, monetarily. And then it goes into the third house. That's an intellectual house, a mental house. And this can bring a profit from your writing, from your online adventures. It can bring love from the internet. So again, kind of going along with my other scenario, with the new moon in that third house as well, earlier in the month, and Uranus in that fifth house. So this is a great time to profit from anything related to public speaking, teaching, and writing. And by extension, the internet, anything internet-based. On the 28th, Mercury goes direct at 16 degrees of Pisces in that third house. So yeah, maybe you have been reworking a website. Maybe you have been preparing a blog for launch. And you do have a green light after this date of the 28th. You will have some time to launch your blog if that's what you're doing. On the 31st, Mars goes into Gemini. So Mars all month long is in Taurus in that fifth house of romance. And also creativity, I have to say that. Because you might be married and you don't want to be stepping out on your spouse. So maybe it affects you in terms of being an artist and being like especially driven at this time. Well, on the last day of the month, Mars goes into sixth house of work. This is an earth house. This is Virgo's house. Mars and Gemini in that sixth house could be getting you in shape. You already have Pluto and Saturn in your sign, Capricorn, in that first house of the body. So you may have already been doing some kind of discipline to kind of transform your body, which is what Pluto specializes in, is transformation. And now with Mars in the sixth house dealing with health, you may be, devising an exercise regimen that you can really be organized with every day and be consistent. Because the sixth house is your house of daily routine. And so you might be strategizing on how you can fit in a certain exercise program. Also, the sixth house is your workplace. So watch out for any conflicts with coworkers and, things like that. Perhaps there is some kind of overtime that you're doing, and so it's just more activity in this area of life. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a natal chart interpretation or some other type of reading, I will provide the link to my website, which is rainamoonastrology.com. And have a great month. Bye.